How's it going, guys? It's Doc. You have 100 days left in this cycle and you need to take action because if you don't, the consequences could be super detrimental. We're going to talk about that in this video. We're going to talk about the 4-year market cycle theory and is it in place? And I'm telling you, this will save you money. Stay towards the end of the video. But before we get started, welcome back to the channel. My name's Doc. Throughout the day, I'm a resident physician. And at night, in the early mornings, I take you guys on my crypto and investing journey. This is a super important topic. It's come up in a few different discords that I'm in, and I want to break it down here because last cycle, a ton of people got left holding the bag. Before we talk about this 4-year cycle, though, I just want to really quick talk about Bitcoin, where we're at right now. So we had a super dramatic weekend with some conflicts that happened in the Middle East. This video is not about that, but right now Bitcoin's sitting at 101,000, roughly $300. And this is actually, in my opinion, a win for where we're at because we dipped down to roughly $98,000 on the money. We had a nice bounce up. And the really interesting thing is if we actually look at the daily chart, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think we had a daily close below $100,000. So that in a lot of ways is really reassuring. You can also see here on the 4-hour chart, the MACD, this is this part on the bottom, this is an indicator. You can see that it's just flipped bullish as green. RSI is down right now, so it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Like I said, as this conflict in the Middle East kind of starts to materialize. You can see if we take a look at the crypto bubbles on the daily chart, you can see everything's green. But if we look at the weekly chart, a lot of red. And again, that's just because of a lot of these world events that are going on right now. You can see really strong projects like CASP is down, Ondo, SPX is down 34%, which is unfortunate. SUI's down 20%, Virtuals is down 27%. It's safe to say that the entire altcoin market right now is down pretty big. And speaking of the altcoin market, if we just look at the Bitcoin dominance real quick, you can see that this weekend, this topped out at 66%. This did wick up and hit 66%. Right now we're at 65.6%. Really, we need this to come down for alt season to come. We've kind of discussed that and length in other videos, but what I really want to talk about is we have roughly 100 days left in this cycle. And this is so important. Not a lot of people want to talk about it, but the reason that we need to discuss it because in 2021, if you did not sell the majority of your bags in Q4, you likely rode them down, round tripped your profits. And to be honest with you guys, in these markets, a small fraction of people win. A small fraction of people take money off the table and actually leave up when they get out of the crypto arena. Now, my argument would be probably just never want to leave, but there's a lot of risk management that needs to happen. We're going to discuss this chart here in a second. This is the rational root. He produces these really interesting Bitcoin spiral charts, and I just want to talk to you about it, and I'm going to kind of build on my thesis as to why we only have approximately 100 days left in the cycle. So do not get confused by this chart. It's actually really easy to understand. The middle is when Bitcoin first started, right? Way back in the day, and it actually works in a clockwise fashion, right? So it goes around and around and around. This first middle dot is $1. The next rung out is 10, then 100, then 1,000, then 10,000, then 100,000, and then the very outside ring here is $1 million. Okay. As we work around this Bitcoin spiral, you can see the 12 o'clock position. This is when all of the halvenings start, right? So at our last halving, we were approximately $73-ish thousand, right? So we're now working around here, and you can see these dark blue dots. This is when Bitcoin historically hits new all-time highs. So you can see a lot of these dark blue dots in the 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 o'clock position, if you were to imagine that this was a clock. And then you can see the Bitcoin bottoms, that's these red dots here. This is around that 7 or 8-ish o'clock. Again, if this was a clock. A couple take homes from this is the Bitcoin bottoms are incredibly, they match up around this same time, right? This is the post-halving year, right? So here it's roughly the 8 o'clock position, but that's approximately that post-halving year that Bitcoin bottoms out. And then you can see here in this kind of like 4:35 o'clock position, there's a lot of dark blue dots, right? And that's because that's when Bitcoin is putting in new all-time highs. And historically, that is in Q4 of the post-halving year, right? So it's June right now. We're about to enter July, about to run into this Q3. We're getting really close to when Bitcoin is going to top out. Now, I don't want you to look at this and think, oh my gosh, Bitcoin, the price, it's going to stall out at 110. That's not the case, because right before, historically, as Bitcoin puts in new all-time highs, it puts in these huge moves up, right? So like right now, we're right around 101,000. I would not be surprised if Bitcoin could even double between now and the end of the year, Q4. Now, is doubling my base case? Maybe not. I think I'm kind of looking at that 150, 160 range. And to me, that actually seems very, very reasonable based off the Bitcoin spiral chart. Now, we're going to take a quick look at this chart. Before we do that, if you guys are looking to join a community to navigate crypto with, I'm going to link my free Discord down below. We have nothing to sell you. We're just a group of individuals who are really trying to look out for each other, getting in new plays, ton of alpha in here, totally free to join. The link is going to be down below in the description. Okay, so this is Benjamin Cohen's website, Into the Cryptoverse, and here we are looking at excuse me, I'm choking on my coffee. So here we're looking at the Bitcoin market cycle bottom ROI. Now, all this is if you look on the left-hand side here, this is the ROI in terms of X's, right? Do we do a 1X, a 2X, a 10X, a 20X, a 100X? What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get rid of the first cycle and the second cycle. So right now, what we're looking at is the 2017 cycle, the 2021 cycle, and then now the 2025 cycle. The pink cycle is the most recent cycle. The green cycle is the COVID cycle, the 2021 cycle, and then the orange one is the 2017 cycle. And you can see that Bitcoin tends to top out approximately, now again, this is very much approximately, in that Q4, right? We said this is that kind of Q4 area, and you could make the argument it's anywhere from 1,060 days after the bottom, or anywhere from 1,150-ish days, right? And this is after the last bottom. Well, right now, we're on day 956. 956, 57 from the prior all-time lows, right? When Bitcoin hit like 16-ish thousand, we're roughly 950 days since that low. Well, historically, if we look at the 2017 cycle, Bitcoin topped out roughly 1,069 days after, right? And the prior cycle, the 2021, it topped out roughly 1,060-ish, right? 61, 62. So right now, we're at 960. We are approximately 100 days away from the all-time highs, according to the 2001 cycle. So the thought process is this, and I'm going to put myself full screen because I do think this is really important. The thought process needs to be this. I do not think, and guys, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just giving you my 2 cents. I'm telling you what I'm doing. I do not think Bitcoin has put in new all-time, it's going to put new all-time highs in, right? I do not think 110, 111, 112 is the all-time highs, right? I think as we progress into Q3 and Q4 and maybe Q1 of 2026, Bitcoin is going to put new all-time highs in, and I think it's going to do it in a durable way, right? I think bare minimum, my base case is Bitcoin is 130,000 this year. That's my like kind of bearish case. I wouldn't be surprised if we hit 140, 150, 160, okay? With that being said, I think this is coming the end of the year. Rate cuts are coming. That is going to be a huge catalyst. QT ending is going to be a huge catalyst. And historically, summer can be kind of boring at times. Not all the time, though, because the 2017 cycle, there's a ton of price appreciation in the summer. So there's lots of things going on. At some point, when you are up 10x or whatever, again, I can't tell you what to do, but if you're up 10, 20x on your bag, take profits, right? If you're up 3 or 4x on some big chunky L1s like a SUI or an AVAX or a SAY or a CASPA or an ICP, or a ZBEC, you should take some profits out, right? Because every dollar made in this cycle will be worth at a minimum $5 the next cycle. So keep that in mind, guys. If you truly are trying to get wealthy, you need to realize that, hey, every dollar that I am plus, I'm in the green this cycle, is going to be worth at a bare minimum $5 next cycle. So if you got any value out of this, consider hitting the like button. Comment down below, where do you think Bitcoin's going this cycle? And again, if you got any value out of this, hit subscribe. You'll see more videos like this, and it really helps me out. I'll see you guys on my next video.